Welcome to the Wagner Estate. My name is Amanda, and I'm going to take you on a tour of this weekend's estate sale. So come on. Our main entrance is going to be in the back of the house. We'll walk up the sidewalk and on the deck. We will have a few things on the deck the day of sale. It's kind of rainy today and tomorrow, so we're going to hold off on getting some of that put out here. But this is where we'll enter. There will be a second way to exit if things get a little busy, but this is going to be our main entrance into the estate sale this weekend. All right, let's go inside. It's going to be a little tight when we first come in. I do want to point out the washer and dryer are not for sale. The only thing for sale in this little hallway as we come in is going to be this little utility cabinet. We had kind of showcased that. The upright freezer is back here. And then we do have, this will probably be back here as well too. So this is brand new in a box. This is like a pedal exercise machine. The door did not shut. Okay. And then I'll show you guys here in a minute, a little further in the video, all these cleaning supplies are going to be relocated and I'll show you where. We just have to remove a door to a closet. So that won't be in here. So ideally this is just a pass through, other than if you're interested in the freezer or that utility cabinet. So then we come into a hallway. I'm going to go ahead and show you both directions. So it kind of splits off, but we are going to head north. So we'll have a bedroom here, a bedroom here. This is a bathroom, not for public use. And then this closet we do have shut off. We're going to go ahead and go all the way down though and kind of show you some things, and then we'll work our way back through the house. I do want to point out that the wheelchair and the walker are one of the things that are probably going to set outside on the deck day of sale. Friday and Saturday, the weather looks gorgeous, a little brisk, but gorgeous and not rainy. So these are kind of big and bulky, and we're going to set those outside, but they will be available. So this is the living room, dining room area. Wanted to kind of show you what we have going on here. This is where we will have a checkout table. This is a smaller checkout table than we normally do. We will have a couple people floating around that can help check you out if the line gets a little too congested over here. But if you're just not sure where to go, this will be a designated place to get answers or a place to check out. This is the second door I was talking about. We will be able to exit out this way if it's just easier. I know when we first open it gets a little crazy. We will be able to exit out this way, or you can go back out the way we came in. So there'll be a few things on the wall behind our checkout. We'll be sure to have those priced. I don't think those are going to relocate. But that being said, we're just going to start in here. So a reminder, all the wall hangings will have prices on them. They're going to be available for purchase. The rocking chair, there we go. The rocking chair is for sale, and the quilt will have tags on those. But then this is what we kind of call our shopping cart area. We'll probably have some baskets with numbers on them here too, but I went ahead and got some boxes ready to go. That way you can just, take the box with you as well. But this is where we have a secure place to kind of leave your stuff while you're shopping, and then you let us know when you're ready to check out. It can get kind of hard to carry everything around. We will have some bags available too though, so you can carry stuff around. All the little wall hangings, the little shelves, these are all going to be available. We have tried to empty off the trinket shelves because I think those are going to be sought after quite, like right off the bat. So, but we do have one of them in here, and it's a little dark. If I can get it to focus. There we go. This is our entertainment center. This is where our Polk surround sound system is located. We do have one of our VCRs and a DVD player here. So just kind of some tech stuff here. It'll all be priced. That is what we're working on the next couple of days before we get to see you all. Here is the beautiful sofa. And I do kind of have it to where you can hopefully sit on it and give it a try. We do have the coffee table here. So this is really pretty. Does have the pull-out drawer. I do have a couple of plant rollers, and those may migrate out to the front or the back porch as well, just so there gives us a little bit more room. All the books on here. We do have a couple of little like handheld games. There was like a Yahtzee and solitaire. This is where the Harwood and the Vernon County books are located. So they'll be in here. We did have a couple of Bibles and some like commentaries. So those are in here. We do have like an Eden Pure style heater. Here is the matching love seat to the sofa. These are really pretty guys. And then one of our side tables. So these kind of match that coffee table. These are the Mission style. They have a drawer in them. One of our lamps, all the lamps are going to be for sale. We may have a couple of lamps behind the checkout table that will not be for sale, just to kind of brighten it up in here if all our lamps sell. We do have wall hanging in here. Here is the electric microfiber recliner. So it is not an electric lift, but it is an electric recliner. So, and it's in really, really good shape. They always kept it covered, so it's practically new. So this end table, if I can turn you around, is kind of the same size as this one. So we have two of those. Lamps, we've got a few things on here. We got a bunch of reading glasses in here. So check that out if you use those. We do have a little cabinet here, kind of like a little media cabinet. The glass doors slide on that one. And then this is where our jewelry pieces are located. We have some really pretty fashion pieces throughout here. The turnstile will kind of spin for you. There's stuff all the way around it. And then we have a few little grab bags with some brooches and fun things like that. So this is where the jewelry is located. I do want to point out, we do have a iRobot, and then this box goes with it. It has the charger and some replacement parts. So all of that will go together. Let me back up. This is one of our floor lamps. We had kind of talked about that. This shelf kind of has some hummingbird curios up here, some really pretty pieces. We do have a few books, and then we have a bunch of CDs, all kind of mixed matched in here if you're looking for some CDs. This is the Bluetooth stereo that we have. And then down here is just kind of a couple more like decor pieces. And I think this basket has some light bulbs in it. I'll probably go ahead and leave that even though we're going to move all the cleaning supplies, but just know that's in here. All right, let me see if I have enough room to back up and kind of show you. This is the leaf to our dining table. We did go ahead and take it out so we could shrink it a little smaller. But this is a really beautiful wood table. They've got it protected, but you're more than welcome to give it a look. The stuff on top of it will be for sale. Got a floral arrangement. Here is where our mountain goat key holder ended up. So it's off the wall and ready. We do have a crock pot, and then this is where the stacking Pyrex bowls are. I do know that'll probably be an interest item, so we've got that easy to find. And then I know it's a little weird, but we're trying to make sure you can actually sit and try some of this furniture, and we still have room to move around. But this is the Mission style pushback recliner. So it's a manual recline. And then this side table matches the other two, but it is like half the width. So it's really skinny. Let me turn around in comparison to those. So it's kind of not quite half, but it is a lot smaller in width. So it can kind of fit in a tighter place. Does have the drawer still though. And then again, we have, wall hangings and little shelves. All of this will be priced and for sale. And then we kind of migrate into the kitchen. So this island pass through here has all kinds of dishes. We do have like a set back here that just has some plates and bowls. We'll have a tag on that. It'll be all together. This has miscellaneous cords and like some chargers and plug things. So that's kind of nice if you're in the market. We do have some placemats, lots of miscellaneous. Like this whole dish set does have plates and bowls and mugs with it. We do have some linens kind of scattered throughout, some Corningware, some Pyrex. Up top, the only thing I had open up here is one door that has a bunch of like replacement or extra coffee Keurigs. So there's 3 different styles and sizes. So if you're in the market for one, I did just kind of toss those up there. And then the only thing down here, I do have a little folding step stool and like a TV tray. So this is like the padded to sit on your lap in the chair. And then the Brinks file boxes here. And then all of these cabinets have been emptied out. Like I said, these two will migrate to the patio day of sale. Right here by the checkout is where our media cabinet is with all the DVDs. So if you're looking for some DVDs or you'd even like to purchase the cabinet, this is where it will be located. And let's go have a look in the kitchen. So we're gonna kind of work around this side. Again, just a lot of miscellaneous kitchen items, kind of all over. I do have a little bit up here. So we have some drinking glass sets. We have some, you know, like shot glasses or whiskey glasses, things like that in here. And then here is where our vintage Tupperware canisters are. So we've got the orange ones, all different sizes. There's a brown one. I do think it has a crack in the lid, but it's still cool. And then we have a yellow one, and then like the pitcher. So those will be in here. We do have a roaster and a big stock pot and some embroidered tea towels. So those are really cute. Those will be in here. We have some utensils, some bakeware, some pans. Now the stove and the fridge stay with the house, the dishwasher too. Those are going to stay with the house. They do not sell at this one. I do have a couple of pots back here, things like that. Let's see. If a cabinet's open up top, it's because it still has some stuff. As stuff sells, we'll pull it down. But this is an ice cream maker. So if you like ice cream in the winter, hey, it'll be snow ice cream time here pretty soon. We do have a juicer. There is a Ninja and a coffee pot. We do have a toaster, blender. We do have a microwave. And then up here is where I put some of our mugs and little cups like that. So there's several of these that are really nice that look kind of new or are new. Some of them still have tags. So if you need a hot cup for coffee and stuff throughout the winter. And then, like I said, the fridge is not for sale. We do have this jar canister set in here, and we will sell this bookcase too. So we'll have tags on those to kind of identify them. Sometimes they're kind of hard to see through everything on them, but if you're in the market for a bookcase, we'll have some. There may still be some spices left in here. I'm getting ready to show you in a minute down the hallway where we're going to put some pantry items, but I do have some cookbooks in here too. And then these bar stools are going to be for sale as well. So those are in here. So that kind of finishes up the kitchen. We're going to migrate down the hallway and we'll just hit the rooms as we come to them. So we're going to stop in this first bedroom. I'm going to go in and then we'll catch some stuff on the way out because it's kind of tight. We tried to keep our centers open as much as we could. Throughout the day, it'll be pretty easy to shop. The only thing will be a little busy probably right at the beginning. So this is the beautiful Stanley dresser and mirror. All the lamps will be for sale. And then we just have all kinds of fun curios kind of mixed in everywhere. We had a bunch of stained glass angels that are really pretty. We've got lots of flower vases. We do have, this was in the kitchen, but you know, he's now here. So cute little butter dish. There is some willow trees mixed in throughout the house. We have some vintage pictures, the little curio cabinet. Again, wall hangings will all be for sale. Then we have an end table and chairs. All right, I'm going to try and spin around. So here are the matching side like nightstands for the dresser that we just looked at. Everything will be sold individually though. So if you only need one piece or something like that, it'll just make it a little easier. You don't have to buy the whole set. Not everyone needs a whole set. We do have lots of doilies. You'll notice those like underneath things all throughout. So if you want to pick and choose some doilies, they'll be a little bit of everywhere. Again, we had more of these stained glass angels. This is a really cute, the book thing is like a letter tray, like for mail or something like that. We do have some brass candlesticks, some florals. Do have an oil lamp. And then this is a set of pictures that has one for all 4 seasons. So that's kind of cool. We'll probably sell it as a set. And then I think this was a little Fire King. Yeah, it was. I just didn't have a set. So kind of fun. We did have some cake pans. I'm pretty sure this was a Pampered Chef too. So another little knickknack shelf. We did go ahead and take that one off. So there's lots of those. The lamps, again, are for sale. I will kind of call out too, we do have a bed folded up in here that will be for sale. This is a full-size bed. It does have like the metal frame that goes underneath it, just no headboard or footboard. But we do have those already broken down so they're easy to pull out, and it just gives us a little bit more room. Let's see if we can brighten this up a little bit. We do have the chair. This is a matching end table to the one in the other corner. And then we do have a lot of shoes in here. These are all women's size 8. So there's lots of tennis shoes and boots. There's some house slippers in here, things like that. And then we kind of overflew the vintage Tupperware in here. That just kind of gets big and bulky, and we just didn't really have room in the kitchen. So there is some vintage Tupperware in here. And then we just have some fun knickknacks. A little bit everywhere. Oh, that fell over. So there's some photo albums. This was a cute little piece. And then we just kind of have some grab boxes. This one's full of matchbooks. There's another brass candlestick and things like that. And then we do have, this is like a pillow sham set in here. And then this is what I couldn't show you a while ago when I came in the door because it was a little tight. But I do have our little antique side table, plant stand, something like that. And then this is the other corner curio. So that is in here. I did notice this has some more like sunglasses and reading glasses. I may even go put those in the living room with the other basket of glasses. So that'll just kind of take up a little less room. One more thing I did want to point out, when we first came in, this pillow sham does have like the comforter inside of it. So that's a really pretty set if you're in the market. All right, we're gonna go back out to the hallway, and we're gonna go ahead and turn into this bedroom. All right, so again, we have one of our lamps right here when we first walk in. We do have a paper shredder. I'm gonna come all the way in and turn around. We're gonna work our way around the room. Okay, so again, all the bookcases will be for sale. So we have several different sizes, as you'll see throughout the house. So, you know, come with some measurements if you know what kind of hole or nook or caddy you wanna put one in, because we have all different heights and like depths and things like that. This one has some of our Beanie Babies on it. Another one of these beautiful stained glass angels. And then this is just kind of some miscellaneous. You do not have to buy it by the whole box. So definitely dig in it. If there's just something you need out of it, we'll make you a really good deal. We just kind of put it in boxes so that it's easier to shop. If you want the whole box, that's fine too. But this is a lot of our quilting books. So these are like hardback books. There's some magazines. Sets. So definitely look through some of these. They have some really pretty patterns and things in them. We'll make you a good deal. And then this fan, I'm pretty sure this one was a heater too. Yes, this is a heater as well as a fan. This is where the accordion sew-in box is. We do have a vintage set of TV trays. Then there are a bunch of just paperback novels in here. We do have some umbrellas and canes and things like that. And then we do have this metal filing cabinet. I don't know if I really talked about it much. And then I'll have signs on it. This is full of greeting cards. And if you want the filing cabinet, you know, without the cards, we'll empty it out. And then this one had some gift bags in it. So I'll have those labeled. But if you're in the market for some cards, thank you, get well, all that kind of stuff. And then we do have some puzzles on the floor. I'll point those out real quick. There's a couple of little waste baskets. And then on top are our bags of buttons. So lots of bags of buttons. There's a box of thread and spools. Another lamp. There are some patterns, scissors, notions, all this kind of stuff. So again, you will not have to buy like a whole 10. So definitely dig through them. I'll probably have some grab bags in here, and you can kind of make a bag of notions that just fits what you need. We do have some little tins and little dishes, things like that. More buttons. And then we did have the iron up here. We do have a little bit of yarn, not a whole lot. There's some hoops back in here. Again, more like thread boxes. There's a sewing box underneath it. this beautiful little sewing box. And if you're not interested in the box, you know, you can dig through it and find some notions you want, or however, we'll be accommodating. And then we do have this cabinet in here, and then we have another cabinet over here. This, I guess I should point out, this is just more notions. So you're going to be able to just kind of fill a grab bag with stuff that you need. So our vintage Singer in the cabinet. As with any sale, I am okay to take the machine out of the cabinet if you just want the machine and do not want the cabinet. So don't let that deter you from purchasing it if you just really don't need the cabinet. So we will sell the chair separate. There are a couple of good extension cords, like power strips in here. There is an ironing board tucked back there. And then we have this cabinet and then all the fabric inside of it. So that is where this is. There's a radio, a vintage threadboard, and then our computer desk. The desk will be for sale, the chair will be for sale, and then all the goodies on top of it. Here's where I put those snap-on mugs, if you saw me talk about those. There's a few pretty bowls and plates and things in here. Lots of pens and pencils. Little basket. There's a couple of books in here. There's a nice mag light in here. We're about to get, and this is where the little frog is, if you saw my little frog. And then we do have a Matchbox cat. Isn't that cute? So hangs on the wall. More lamps. A couple of these I do not have plugged in, but we could always plug them in and test them. So not a problem. And then this shelf has like a hummingbird feeder, and this is one of those bird ones that goes on the window, suction cups. And you can watch the little critters eat out of it, so that's always fun. Another floral arrangement. Now this looks a little chaotic, but this is grab bags of like tools and hardware. This one's kind of cool. It's got one of those like driveway alarms in it. There's one that's like all paint. There's some that are just like little tools. We'll have those priced by the bag. So that'll be kind of cool to look through there if you're needing. This is where the Black & Decker tool set is. It had like the drill and the circular saw, if I remember right. The batteries are in there. The chargers are in there. Again, here was another really nice extension cord. There is some like deck preserver in here. This was, I think we just had like a trimmer and like a little garden shovel I stuck in here. And then these are cassettes. So we'll sell you just, you know, a couple cassettes, or we'll sell you like a whole case. These cases are full. There's a few in there. So if you're interested in some cassettes, those are kind of tucked down in the bottom. I do have a purse hanging here too. I didn't have a whole lot of purses, but that one was really pretty. All right, so we are back in the hallway, making our pivot. So this is where we initially came in. So like I said, that is a little tight. It'll be more of a passway. So this is what I wanted to talk about. We decided the other night, we're gonna go ahead and pull this door off and kind of tuck it away. And this will be open, and we'll have pantry items on the first couple of shelves. We'll skip one. And then we're gonna have some cleaning supplies down here. So if you need, you know, cleaning supplies and things like that, or if you're interested in some pantry items, because we still have some good stuff, that will actually be here. The door will actually be off on the day of sale. So it'll be a little congested right here, but not everyone will look at that. All right, back in this back bedroom. So it looks a little crazy. This will not be here. We are still hanging signs all over the place. So we're working on pricing and everything. So everything is ready for you guys. When we first come in, we do have another little bookshelf here. It's got some more paperbacks and novels. There's a couple hardbacks in there. And then this is a super comfy king size bed. So if you're in the market for a king size bed, we do have the 2 box springs leaning up against the wall, and then we have the mattress here as well. So those are really nice. I'll have some more information on the brands and things like that posted on them the day of sale. Now this gets a little crazy. Hopefully this is easy enough to shop. You can kind of see how we've boxed things up, so you can kind of look and be like, well, I'm not interested, I'm interested. You know, a lot of these like thick winter socks were still new with tags, so there's some, you know, really nice ones in there. We do have a few blankets and linens. This is kind of fun. This is full of clothespins, so I'll have that labeled the day of. But these boxes are just kind of, you know, what they say they are. Gloves, hats, scarves, things like that. And then we did still need some room on the floor. So this one has like sweatpants and pajama bottoms. And then we just have a variety of coats and shirts and dresses and things like that on the clothing rack. All our clothing is a women's large and extra large is what the majority of it is. You might see a medium every now and then. Again, here's our box of pajama sets. So these have matching top and bottoms. So make sure you get the 2 pieces when you dig in there. I do have a couple of these little end tables, and if you want these right off the bat, these nightstands, we will move the box. That's not a problem. I did have another one over here. So we'll have tags on those. Those will be available for purchase. There is an air mattress in here. I need to look and see what size that is for sure. But there is an air mattress. And then again, I still had another box down here that has a lot of kind of like your casual or athletic. So there's leggings or just a little bit nicer, dressier pants. There's a couple of jeggings and jeans and things like that. So that is what is here. And then we do have another dresser in here. All the drawers have been emptied. This one has a lot bigger mirror than the other one. All the little curios and lamps on top will be for sale. So we have lots of fun little figurines in here. Some potpourri. Look at this little snowman. Isn't he cute? We do have a lot of perfume bottles. It's there's a couple more I'll have to show you in a different location, but those are fun. We do have some silver polishing cloths in here that we found. We do have a vacuum in here. And then some of our shoes kind of migrated into here as well. So we've got lots of shoes to choose from. Before we walk through the bathroom and the closet, I want to point out this Chester drawer. And then we do have a TV in here. We've got the manuals and the remotes up here. And then this is also a combo DVD and VCR. So that will be available. But if you have made it this far in the video, one thing we do at all of our sales is a scavenger hunt. And so this sales scavenger hunt is this adorable little ladybug. So I think at one time she was probably painted on both sides, but we're gonna call her a little ladybug. If you find the little ladybug, I'm gonna put on the screen here what our scavenger hunt logo. She'll have a little sticker on her, so you'll know you found the right thing. But if you take the little scavenger hunt item to the checkout or anyone that's cashing people out, you will get $10 off of your purchase with us this weekend. So definitely keep an eye out. It will be hopefully hidden, hopefully a little tricky to find, but we never put the scavenger hunt item behind a door you're not allowed to go in or in a shut closet. It will be out in the open where everybody has a fair shot at finding it. But if you find the little ladybug, make sure you take it to the checkout. You will get $10 off of your purchase with us this weekend. And then let's work our way through the circle here. Here in the master bath, we just have a lot of like cosmetics and cleaners and, things like that. So, almost full box of Band-Aids, and this will honestly probably be kind of like fill a grab bag. So there's just a little bit of everything in here if you want to look through it. So, and I'll show you more here in a minute. We do have a nice little stool under here. I do have some luggage, a little heater. In the tub, I don't have a lot. I flipped this box upside down so we could kind of make some stuff easier to reach, but there's a couple of little organizers, things like that. There's a couple of waste baskets. There's a walking boot, another waste basket. So just a couple of things in there. I tried to raise them up so you wouldn't have to dig in the tub. This whole cabinet will be for sale as well too. That does remove, that's not built in. Again, we just kind of have, there's some fun glass bottles in here. This is like a jewelry caddy that spins. That was really cool. There is a set of curlers up here. So yeah, pretty little soap dish. And then, isn't this vase pretty? I thought that was pretty. So all of the little things. We'll go to the closet here in a minute. I'm going to turn around, let my camera adjust. And then as we turn around, this is where more of like the cosmetics just kind of continue. There's new packages of toothpaste and, you know, things like that. So this will all be fill a grab bag. So all kinds of fun stuff. And then we have another little shelf here that is kind of a nice size if you've got a small place that needs a little storage. So that'll be for sale as well as the stuff on it. I do have a wicker laundry hamper too that I wanted to point out. So now we're going to migrate to the closet. I do have one more rack of shoes. A lot of these are more dressier shoes, but again, women's size 8, browns and blacks. And we're going to let the camera adjust. I do have another chest of drawers hiding here in the closet, so that will be available as well. We'll help get it out. And then this is where I had some more perfumes. So definitely check those out. And then we did have some essential oils we had come across. And then we do have a little bit more clothing in here. As our clothing racks thin out in the main bedroom, we'll kind of migrate some of this, but we just didn't want to get them too tight. I do have some clothes over here. So there's a couple more dresses in here and some, honestly, a lot of this is a lot dressier, more so than casual. So definitely check that one out. We do have a lot of our linens in here. So I didn't put a whole lot in here other than linens. I figure not a whole lot of people target those, but if you're after linens, this is where you'll find them, is in this closet. We do have this really big steamer trunk in here. So it does not have the drawer in it, or the shelf, whatever you want to call that. But there is a really big steamer trunk in here. So blankets, sheets, there's a couple of luggage bags. This is where you'll find some towels, washcloths, things like that. We do have pillows on the very top, but mostly just linens in the closet. There is another vacuum tucked away in here too. So, and then we had some bags for it. Okay, so that brings us back. We did full circle into the bedroom. All right, guys, that concludes our tour. So hopefully that gives you an idea of where things are located at in the house, and you kind of have an idea where to go when you arrive this weekend. Our opening rush on Friday is always pretty busy. It gets a little crazy. We do ask that you just kind of everyone be nice and gracious. It's a kind of a small space. After the initial rush, everything's pretty good. It'll be a good fun shopping experience. So we can't wait to see you. We will be here Friday, October 31st from noon until 6 p.m. And then we will return on Saturday, which will actually be November 1st. And we will be here from 10 o'clock until 2 p.m. Saturday is discount day. Everything that's left that didn't sell on Friday will go to half off in price. And then the last couple hours of the sale, if we still have anything that makes it that far, will be 75% off. So we can't wait to see you. We will be uploading. Hopefully we'll get the drive video up on Thursday. There are directions on the website. So hopefully, and we will have a lot of signs all over the place because it's a little windy to get here. You can see us, we're right off the highway, but you can't get there. You have to kind of snake around some back roads. We'll have signs everywhere, so you should be able to find us really easy. And we can't wait to see you guys this weekend.